All right. Hey guys, welcome back. So let's get into this. We're going to take a peek at the today's topic for the 3rd of July. We have a 10 of Wands. That 10 of Wands energy is going to be very much about the past, letting go of the past. We even have like this little skeleton, and he's holding this mirror up and showing it to her. This is a little bit like, see how far you've come. The 10 of Wands is wrapping up a cycle of regrets and old, outmoded, outdated ideas, things that we do not need to carry with us anymore. King of Pentacles, 10 of Swords, again, with an ending. This, look, I feel like there's somebody bright and new in her future, and the faster she can let go of something from the past, the more swiftly we can get to that King of Pentacles. And I say that because it is like a little 10 king sandwich here, right? We got the 10s on either side flanking him, and he's like the yummy meat in the middle. We want to get to the good stuff. Those 10s wrapping up cycles, wrapping up unnecessary hurts and pains, getting to the point of being able to release things that are just very unnecessary so that we can, at the heart of everything, we have greater stability, maybe a new opportunity. But we have a feminine on both of these 10s who has to let go of a hurt and a pain, has to let go of the way she felt about something in the past so that she can believe in the stability that she deserves to have. We have an Ace of Pentacles sideways. Now, it doesn't matter what gender this person is. This could be a masculine or a feminine, but let's just say that somebody really needs to allow themselves to, I'm not saying forgive. Nobody has to do any forgiveness, but releasing and ending for themselves so that they can welcome in something so much better. And I do feel like, look, somebody wishes that she would let go of the past so that he can get a shot with her. If we're talking about two different people here, and that's kind of the way this comes across to me now, this King of Pentacles is like, gosh, I wish she wasn't still, letting go of things. I wish she was already done with the past so that she could see me, so that she could have a new beginning with me. And she might be thinking the same thing. God, I want to not think about the past anymore because I want to look at this new king. Hey, where there's a will, there's a way. So I'm thinking that this can happen. We have the Moon card here. Again, this is her walking into the gloom. She's carrying with her this skeleton face that she's peering at. But you notice she has a backbone that we can see here. This could be her saying, okay, what is still in my subconscious that's a stumbling block? Let me illuminate the thing that has been hidden inside of me. Okay, can we just see what it is? Because I feel like we have a feminine about to have a big old breakthrough on July the 3rd. Queen of Swords, Four of Wands sideways. Why was I not good enough to marry? Why did somebody not marry me? Here she is in a wedding gown holding her bouquet. Here's the raw truth of what has bothered her about whatever happened to her in the past. If somebody put 10 swords in her back, if somebody abandoned her, left her, if somebody made her feel ugly or unwanted or unattractive or unlovable, that is the key nugget. It's not that she's holding on to somebody in the past like, oh, but I want them. She is astute enough now to say, what's the truth of what I've still held on to? And she's like, it was what is the truth? Why didn't they pick me as their Four of Wands? Why did I fall short of what they wanted? So I'm wondering if she was engaged to somebody who then didn't marry her, or if there was talk of marriage and then that all fell by the wayside. But whatever this was, it wasn't just a betrayal. It was something that got into her head that she hasn't really acknowledged in herself until now. This is her stumbling block. Why didn't they marry me? Why was I not the person that they wanted to marry? If they said that to me, and I'm here in my wedding gown, so I'm thinking that there was talk of marriage and then a relationship ended. And I think what she got hung up on was, relationships come and go, but what was it? There's a great song by Jesse Coulter. And it's like, what did I say? What did I do to make you change your mind? Okay, so you must be going, but you don't go before I'm knowing. What did I do to make you change your mind? And I think it's called You Mean to Say, because that's the rest of the song, like one of the refrains, like, you mean to say we'll never love again. You mean to say by walking away, um, our love is now at an end. Yeah, Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. There is this element of like, she's like, I don't even know what I needed to work on. I don't know, because I didn't ever understand why somebody abandoned me. I didn't know why they decided they didn't want to marry me. What made me not marriage material? What makes me, because that kind of maybe got deep in her head, like there must be some flaw in me. I must not be, when you look closer at me, yeah, I guess there's something missing, but I don't know what I'm supposed to work on in myself, because I never understood why somebody like didn't want me. Look, this feels very raw. This feels like but this is a strong Queen of Swords. If she's able to come to terms with like that deep part of, what is it that I'm worried about really? Why didn't they want me? What's wrong with me? I don't even know what I'm supposed to work on, because they didn't tell me why they didn't pick me. And that's where her stumbling block is. It's not because she wants an ex back. I think a Queen of Swords can always let somebody go. She's like, well, okay, they don't want me. But if I could figure out where I am not enough, so then I can be enough for the next person, I'd work on me, but I just don't know what it is. You know what, darling, there's nothing wrong with you. Just because somebody chooses not to be with you, that has nothing to do with anybody other than them, their choices, where their headspace is at. She does not need to rack her brain for what she's missing in herself or where she's not good enough. The Tower. Good. I'm glad it's time for that thought process to fall. The Tower, I like the Tower because it's when we stop being confined. She's been maybe trying to like drill this in and ask herself that question again and again and again. And it's not the right question to ask herself. This is her like looking, if you look closely, this is like a tree of life, but it's like a human being as well, that we see their blood vessels and the nervous tissue, and we see her head here at the top, and it's kind of like the limbs are her arms and the trunk is her body. And she's been rooted and stuck in one spot and confined, trying to figure out, how much do I need to change of myself at the very foundation of who I am? Is there something flawed that I don't know about? And I think she's finally about to say, maybe I don't need to wonder if there's something wrong with me. Maybe there was something wrong with the person that left. Maybe they wanted to run away from you before you found out what they were afraid was wrong with them. And sometimes we can spend a lot of time, oh my God, as I say that, I don't even know what prompted me to say that, other than I was just throwing out like the complete reverse. Because sometimes, we get in our head, I must have messed up. They didn't want me. And really, maybe somebody runs away because they didn't abandon you. They ran from you because they were afraid they weren't enough. And here you've been walking around for maybe 10 months, 10 years, thinking there's something missing in you. And in fact, it was them who was afraid there was something missing in themselves. And they basically infected you with their disease of inferiority complex. I just threw that out because I thought, what's the thing somebody would never consider when they're so focused on what's wrong with me? I wish I knew so I could fix it. And I'm like, anybody who is like that, like super responsible and wants to like just make themselves a better person, I'm like, I have a very strong suspicion there was nothing at all lacking in you, but you could have intimidated somebody else because you are so truthful and you are so responsible. And now, sure enough, we get this Four of Pentacles. Whomever, quote unquote, abandoned her, held back from her. And you notice they may have been wearing a mask all this time. And they may have, you notice that this family tree is rooted so deep that there is nothing to balance here. They may have hidden the fact that maybe they were completely, enmeshed in a family behavior. They really didn't have a life of their own necessarily, because they were so much a part of, let's say, a bigger group mentality, and they hid that. They tried to balance it out. They thought maybe they could like have a relationship where they acted like a different person, and they could keep that separate from the actual life that they came from, the family like thought process or something. It feels like they hid something. They wore a mask and they were hoping that they could keep that balanced. And when they couldn't, they just pulled away completely so that they didn't have to reveal I wasn't honest about what my real behavior was, or what my real my lack of personal choice or personal freedom. I don't know, this the fact that that family tree is all the way through the scale here, so there's no real freedom of movement at all. It's great to have a family tree with deep roots, but you don't want it to make it so that you have no ability to kind of live your own life and have your family understand that you love them and stuff, but you're also your own person. And there's got to be that understanding and that respect and that balancing act of give and take. Like, yep, you're my parents, but I'm also going to do things a little different than you. Not with a family like this, you're not. There's no balance. There's our way and only our way. You can lie and pretend when you're not around us that you're not still following our rules, but you know what? You will follow our rules when push comes to shove. That's what I get off of this card. If this is why somebody ran away from her, quote unquote, abandoned her, and she doesn't know it, got the Queen of Wands. She couldn't know that because she doesn't operate that way. A Queen of Wands, a Queen of Swords, she's been two queens upright. She has been somebody who makes her own decisions, who tries to, own her own mistakes, who's possibly, queens are really good at standing on their own 2 feet. But if all this time she's thought, what was it about me that made them not want me? And it's like, darling, they didn't have the courage to choose what they truly wanted, which was you. But they didn't have the courage to tell you that they were so enmeshed in, the rules and regulations of some family related thing that they ran from you instead. And all this time she's been hurt over this. She's felt like she somehow failed. And it's been costing her a chance with a very good looking King of Pentacles with a nice luscious beard, who's been possibly patiently wondering, I wonder if she'll ever notice me. Are you going to notice this King of Pentacles now? Are we laying any of this to rest? Are you getting to the point where she's not going to worry anymore? Yeah, there we go. There's the star. I thought she was coming to terms with this because of that moon card, because we've been able to watch her get to the bottom of things and say, listen, what really has bothered me is I never knew why somebody didn't want me, but maybe I need to quit wondering why they didn't want me. And maybe I just need to say, maybe I'll never know. Now we have the advantage of having just heard the entire story, but maybe she's also having a perspective shift. Maybe she's getting that thought process of, well, they acted like they wanted me, but then they held back. Maybe there was some other reason that they did that. Maybe I didn't know the real them after all. That to me, I mean, she's realizing, but they thought I was attractive. They wanted to be with me. They sought me, and then they withdrew. Then maybe they're the ones who had something to hide. Maybe it was never about me. I would say spot on, little mama. Let this thing go. And let's go get over to that King of Pentacles now. Like I really want her with him. The King of Pentacles sandwich. That star card says she may finally free herself. So the 3rd could be a very cathartic day where she feels very free and she's able to just say, oh, I'm putting that in my past and I'm ready to move towards something much better. That star is healing. It's reaching for something better. I feel like, you notice how she has like a sailing ship on her head, kind of like it's a little tipsy hat up there. We're letting things blow around her, blow through her. It's a very cleansing wind. She could be someplace where there's a bit of a, a storm, or maybe seeing a little cyclone or something. I just saw one of those like 3 days ago. And I was so surprised because it was a significant one, probably the biggest I've ever seen. I don't live in an area with tornadoes, but it was crazy to see, a baby one pick up, but it was so much bigger than one I've ever seen before. That looks like there could be a swirl of energy around her, or, I mean, heaven forbid, if she lives in an area with tornadoes, obviously be safe, get yourself out of harm's way. But I'm picturing it more like energy flow, but it could be like a windy, stormy day or something also on the 3rd. And it's actually like, instead of it being dangerous in this storyline, it represents, moving stuff out of her energy flow, like letting the wind blow through her, letting the emotions finally like dissipate, letting her thoughts dissipate. Strong Aquarius energy on that. Now she's been a Queen of Wands and a Queen of Swords. So we did have Libra, Gemini, Aquarius from the Queen of Swords, but then also Leo, Sag, and Aries from the Queen of Wands. We saw her having that moment on the third of the tower. So Aries energy, also with some Pisces off the moon. She could be a lot of different things, but the biggest thing is she's finally setting herself free of that perpetual thought of, why didn't somebody want me? And now she's like, who cares? This King of Pentacles seems like he's real interested. Six of Wands, it's going to make her feel like $1,000,000. She's going to stop thinking about the one person that didn't pursue things with her, the person that didn't marry her. And she's going to start to have eyes, I think, for this King of Pentacles. And I do feel like this is the day she turns that corner and starts to say, I like this King of Pentacles. Is she just meeting him, or has he already been there, like wondering, will she ever notice me? We have an Eight of Wands. This has two things to it. This could be one of two storylines, is what I meant to say. She could be bumping into this King of Pentacles, and they could be somebody that she knew once upon a time, and it's like, oh, I haven't talked to you in forever. Oh, it's so good to catch up with you. And it's like, wow, he was interested in me a long time ago, but I was still too lost in trying to figure out why that ex of mine, chose not to stay with me. Now I don't feel that way. Now I'm super excited to talk to him. I feel different. I'm a butterfly. I've just transformed. Here, this King of Pentacles is back in my life, and we got a second chance at this. But the other storyline could be that he has actually like known her and been waiting for her all this time and been trying to get her like, come on out and play with me. Oh gosh, that song, Come Dancin', is only natural. I can't think. It's like a 70s song, or maybe very early 80s song, but I think it's Come Dancin'. It's only natural. Yeah. Anyway, this feels joyful. This feels like maybe two people are literally going to go out dancing, but it's about time that she gets beyond that situation from the past. All right, and then let's pull a card for somebody whose birthday would be on the 3rd. What do we have here? A message for a 3rd is the Page of Wands. Got a lumberjack. This is a new inspiration. Is there a potential new love interest here? Knight of Cups. My. I'm getting intense vibes off of this. I'm getting the feeling of like, I don't know how swiftly this moves, but a chess game usually takes a while. But there's the chess game of love. There's a spark, this ember of attraction. I don't know if somebody's going to meet somebody outside. Maybe there's a next door neighbor who's very, outdoorsy or what. And then from there, they wind up like actually getting an opportunity to slowly but surely get to know each other, and emotion builds. This feels like the foundation is going to be evolving for possibly a very strong attraction. And I'll say attraction, not necessarily love story, because who knows what this could be. Just because it's a Knight of Cups and, a Page of Wands, sometimes we start out and we think somebody's attractive, and then we develop warm feelings, and then we go, but you know what? I think I love them as a human, not as a lover. That could be the case. But I don't know. This looks like we certainly start out with some spicy intentions here, and then getting to know someone else's mind step by step by step is like a real act of, like appreciating them, developing emotions for them. This feels like the ideal way to maybe build a relationship. A spark, an inspiration. You see what you see, this person's, out there doing something. This could be quite an outdoorsman. And a lot of the getting to know each other could be sharing energy, being in the outdoors, like letting it be really natural flowing. That's how this comes across to me. But yeah, great conversation, a meeting of the minds, and that's where the emotions are developed. That's beautiful. I love that. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing.